What's going on, guys? MaddenGurus.com here with another free Madden 16 tip. Today actually with 5 free tips on how to improve your defense overnight on Madden 16. These are the 5 things that I think you should know. A lot of things that I get asked about often that I think will make the biggest improvements to your defense. So the first thing is who to control. So that really just depends on what kind of coverage you're in. So let's just go through a few of them. So let's say we do a cover 2 man. So I'm just gonna, and I don't really have a cookie cutter answer. It's just gonna, again, it's gonna be based off of your opponent's tendencies. It's gonna be based off of what your coverage looks like. So here's a few things. Here's a few ways to go about it. Sometimes I like to use the guy that's on the running back. So if you're running a man defense, there's a guy manned up on the running back. Use him because you can watch the running back and run over to the flat real quick if he goes out for a pass. But if he's in a blocking assignment or something like a play action, you're not really going to need to cover him. So now you could leave the 2 over the top, and then everyone else is manned up, and then you still have an extra player to roam with underneath that really he would have gotten turned into a spy if the running back blocks. So then you'll have 2 spies. That's redundant. And now as far as this specific play, if you're scared that the running back's going to run out into the flats or something, you could leave him manned up, and what you could do is just control this yellow zone, or this spy. Now some people control the safeties, and that's fine as well, as long as you don't have someone who's trying to aggressive catch it down the field on you, burn you deep. And sometimes you'll get burned deep anyway if someone throws it right, has the right personnel with one of the safeties. But typically I don't control the safeties unless you're really getting hurt in the run game and you just really have to be aggressive and come down and try to cover the run. Now when it comes to zone defenses, here we'll look at a cover 3 for an example. One thing I actually like to do is sometimes I'll just grab a yellow zone, just trying to, maybe I'm not thinking, I just need to click on someone fast after I set up a blitz. But I think it'd be smart to use someone like a flat zone on the opposite side of where the running back is, because the chances of them throwing a flat route to the left aren't as high. So you could watch the left flat and then run back into coverage and then try to guard anything else. And that way, you're going to have these yellow zones, because if you use the middle linebacker and then you run to try to guard something else, now you're leaving the middle open. So you're more likely to get attacked over the middle than in one of the flats. So if you just check the flats real quick, then you could run over that, and then you can start disguising that. So then you can put this guy in a flat, and then your opponent might think you're leaving the flats open when you're running over here, but really the flats should be covered if you do the right adjustment. So that's kind of an idea of how I'll set up different zone, as far as who I would control on some zone defenses and zone blitzes. Now when it comes to zone blitzes, let's say you got a blitz that looks like this, leaves the right flat open. Then in a situation like this, then you're going to want to control the nearest yellow zone to the side where it's going to be weak, and then it's going to be your job to run over here and then either guard the middle or guard the flat. So situations like that, that's where you're going to want to have to control someone other than like someone on the opposite side of the field where you don't think they're going to throw the ball. So really the philosophy is try to control someone in an area where you don't think they're going to throw, and then run to an area where you do think they're going to throw. That way you don't accidentally vacate important areas of the field, like the middle of the field with the middle linebacker. Now my second tip is to mix in coverages with the same look. So for example, at the defensive guides at MaddenGurus.com, there's a lot of plays that are called cover 3 in the breakdowns. A lot of those plays, you can run them out of basic coverages like cover 4, cover 2, 2-man under, cover 1, really as long as you can get the right blitz angles and everyone blitzing correctly. So for example, here's a look at a blitz out of quarter normal. So you can set this up out of pretty much anything. So all we did was pinch and crash the line down. Now sometimes if there's contains, it'll mess it up. So for example, here we could do like a cover 3 and then pinch and crash the line down, blitz this guy right here. And you can do this setup out of anything. So a lot of setups that are in the guides as far as cover 3, you can pretty much set them up out of anything. And if you have a symmetrical formation, a lot of times you could flip it. So for example, if they block the running back on the right and the blitz is designed to come in through the right, you can flip it and then run it from the left side. So for example, here we're going to show a simple blitz, and this one's good against a running back blocking. Here we're going to put this outside or this corner here in a yellow zone. Here we'll make the running back block, and then typically we're going to get pressure from the left B gap. And so you could give an opponent hell with just a blitz like this, And now what we can do is we can audible to a play like man up 3 deep, and then set it up to make it look the same way, and then bring this guy down here, and then you don't even have to blitz that guy. You can just do straight up coverage defense. You can even put your lineman in coverage. So now as far as the offense is concerned, they're like, oh crap, they're sending a blitz that comes in through the left B gap that my running back can't pick up if he's on the right blocking. But in reality, you got 2 people deep, you can use her over the middle or anywhere else, you have everyone manned up, and so just mixing in a little blitz / coverage combo like this that is completely disguised as far as the offense is concerned is one of the best ways to go on defense this year. Now my third tip is not necessarily one that I could show you right here. It's basically to try to pay attention to what the offense is doing. And if you're too much in a rush trying to set things up and adjust, and I understand how that feels in a game, try to record your games. So if you have an HD capture device, you can record it and play it back later. And now on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, you can pretty much record your game play. So what I would really urge you to do is if you at least remember someone was giving you trouble, go back and look at the film. I mean, that's what NFL players do. So there's no reason why you shouldn't do it either if you want to make sure that the same stuff that gives you trouble once doesn't happen again. And by living by that philosophy, eventually, you start minimizing the things that give you trouble, and then you'll get a lot better by doing that. So basically study your film of your past games. Tip number 4, I kind of covered this already in an earlier tip. It's to adjust your blitzes and your coverages to what your opponent is trying to do. So for example, if we were to set this blitz up right here, then you might want this guy in a purple zone, or you might want this guy in a flat zone or a yellow zone across the middle. So let's say they're running slants on you on the right side, you might want to put a yellow zone there. That'll really slow down slants. And then basically everything else I said about the coverages. So we could set this blitz up out of many different coverages, and so that's pretty much what I mean by that, as well as I also mentioned flipping the plays or having a blitz come from the other side. Another thing I want to mention is some blitzes that come in through like a B gap and the running back picks it up. Sometimes if you blitz a player off the other edge and then move him out to the angle changes, sometimes you don't even have to do that. Sometimes you can just leave him blitzing. It really spreads out the blitz. That way, sometimes it kind of distracts your running back on one side, and it typically lets the blitz come in from the other side. So that's another way that you can try to get your blitzes to make sure they're coming in against different advanced blocking schemes such as slide protection and all that. So for example, if they were blocking and slide protecting to the right, then you would want a blitzer coming off the other edge, because usually the left guard is just going to run in, or the left tackle is going to run in and then leave the defender to come in free. So really the whole point is just to force the quarterback to have to throw the ball within a second or two constantly. Keep making them have to make perfect reads until they make a mistake or get sacked. And my 5th and final tip is try to have the best personnel on the field as often as you can. Sometimes it could get really tedious constantly making adjustments. But for example, here in quarter normal, we did the LB ends package. So that's going to put fast linebackers at this position that in some cases could give us more awareness and definitely more speed and smaller bodies to be able to fit through the offensive line's gaps better. So that's one piece of advice that you could use in terms of this tip. Also, if you know that they're in a passing situation, come out in a formation where you could possibly have a corner manned up on a tight end. That way you're going to get typically better man coverage ratings, zone coverage ratings, more than you would have with a linebacker. So if you know it's in a passing situation, come out where you could possibly have corners covering more more people, more receiving options. That way you're just going to have better coverage overall. Routes that typically beat man aren't at least going to get as open, and so your defensive coverage will be a lot better that way. I mean, there's a lot of formations where you have some really cool packages. So for example, in a lot of the nickel diamond quarters, you could package in the linebackers at defensive ends, so that's always good for defensive end B gaps. And also a formation like 4-6 normal, you could do the speed package that'll get corners in at, I believe, where the outside linebackers would be. So just a lot of really different options to get the right personnel on the field. And then same thing for if they're running the ball on you. You're going to want some big bodies in there that are going to shed blocks. You're going to want good linebackers on the edges, and then sometimes even move them out. That way they shed those blocks by the tackles and then keep those runs inside. That works really well when stopping the tosses this year that are very effective. So thanks guys for watching this video. I hope this video helped you. If you want to see part 2, which is the 5 top tips on offense to improve your offense overnight in Madden 16, make sure you like the video. I'll post that when this video gets 100 likes. And also don't forget to check out the free mini ebook I'm giving away in the description. First link, just sign up for the free newsletter and you'll get the mini free ebook instantly with some of my favorite pass plays, run defense, and blitzes. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.